Your driver is 4 minutes away. Your driver is close. Be ready outside to meet them. Your driver is here. They'll depart in 5 minutes. Do these alerts sound familiar to you? That's right. They are alerts that you might get when you order a Lyft or an Uber. That's right. Now imagine getting these notifications and going out to get your Lyft, and the driver is celebrity Ryan O'Flanagan from The Orville, season 3, I think. Well, for some lucky passengers this holiday season, that's exactly what happened. The following podcast contains lasers that may trigger seizures in photosensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. This is Laser Show.
Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, dance, dance.
Good day to you and yours. Welcome to Laser Show, episode 33. I am your host, Ryan O'Flanagan, Gucci Greatness, the Fabergé Fiend, here with another hot ep, the 33rd ep, the Scottie Pippen ep. Pippen! Speaking of Pippen, you can now watch a short film that I was in. It's not Pippen, but there is a Pippen reference in it, and that's what made me think of this. If you go to the Somewhere in Between movie, Instagram, and there's probably some other ways too, but this is the one I know. Somewhere in Between movie on Instagram, there's a link, and you can now watch a short film that I was in, with lots of great people. Laserhead John Horan, major actor in it, major producer, director John Horan, played a big part in the making of this. Taylor Mishak, who you might know from She Lent Me Her Car for the past couple months. Directed by Kyle Vorbach. I mean, this thing, it's absolutely Tribeca worthy, and it got into Tribeca. And it's about 12 minutes long, and you can watch it. I've been posting about it a lot over the past year or so, but you couldn't really watch it. And people would often ask, how can I watch this? Why are you posting about this if I can't watch it? Well, because I'm bragging that it got into Tribeca, and it won Best Film at the Austin Film Festival. Not South by Southwest, asshole. It's still good. And Taylor won Best Actress in that. Actually, it won something. It won Best Comedy Short or something like that. Or Best of the Fest. I don't know what it was. But it got into a bunch of festivals. And it's really good. Check it out. But anyway, I got on that because I was talking about Pippen. Oh, the 33rd episode. Yes! Happy 33. Another laser show. I want to thank my sponsor, Jordan Rantucci. Jordan, thank you for everything. You keep the lights on here, buddy. Thank you to all of my sponsors, but really, really thank you to Jordan Rantucci. And now off we go with episode 33. Well, folks, as you might know if you're a listener of this podcast, I got no money. Boy, oh boy, did I run out of money in a big way. Past couple years, I've just been an absolute spiral. And let me tell you, this episode is about me working for Lyft. Let me just tell you, I spent 2 weeks, 15 days really, as a Lyft driver in November. I drove for Lyft. This was my first, I guess, day job, you can call it, even though I only did it at night. You know what I mean. Stop being an asshole. Working at night is still a day job. And no, we didn't win South by Southwest. You're being an asshole. But I haven't had a day job since, it's been about 8 years. almost 8 years. I think early 2017 was when I finally quit working for Postmates. So, hey, the last day job I had was driving around. And then there's a quick little 8 year hiatus. And then I got back into it. But in those 8 years, I have been, and look, sometimes people ask me, how do you get by? What is your job? And I'll tell them, I'm an actor and a comedian. And they'll be like, but what's your job? And I'll say, you're not going to believe this, but I actually am an actor and a comedian, and that's my job. And the shock that these people experience, to be honest with you, is completely understandable and founded. How am I able to support myself for almost a decade by acting, and I'm doing finger quotes right now, air quotes, and stand-up comedy, which you've listened to this podcast. 2/3 of my shows get canceled. How have I been able to survive? Great question. Great question. And to those who aren't in the know, you can put in very little work and make pretty good money if you're very, very lucky in the industry. Which for the past 8 years I have been very, very lucky. I've been honestly blessed. I'm not delusional. I don't really think that sometimes I don't think I deserve even to be doing well based on what work I'm doing, because what work I'm doing or have been doing over the past several years is pretty infrequent. But if you just book like 2 commercials a year, back in the day, I would get very lucky. I booked a couple commercials that ran for a couple months. And if you get a couple national commercials in a year, maybe even one, there are some years I might even have 3. Sprinkle in a little, maybe you book a little role on a TV show once or twice a year, maybe, max. And then do stand-up, which weekends can pay well, colleges can pay well. Some shows pay very well. The occasional sketch where someone might pay you to be in a sketch or like a whatever. A little short or whatever they want to do. Little gigs, little acting gigs here and there. I record a few cameos on the Cameo app. I don't know, one a week, few a month maybe. That all added together, I've been living very comfortably. Working very, very little. I mean, when I go on the road, I'm working a lot. That's 2 weeks of nonstop driving and then doing a show and then driving and then doing a show. Well, it's driving and doing a show and getting blacked out drunk, waking up wanting to kill myself, then driving and doing a show and getting blacked out drunk. That's me working hard. Those are the days that I work hard. But even my acting gigs, the ones I usually get, are usually 1 day of work for the vast majority of things I've booked. I've never, I think the longest running role I ever had, I think I was in maybe 4 or 5 episodes of American Vandal, and I shot for just a couple of days, maybe like 3 or 4 days on set. So I've certainly never been on set for like weeks, like when people book real roles. So I work very little, but have been able to be not just support myself, but be pretty well off. Just 2 years ago, I went to fucking Switzerland. What the hell was that about? How rich was I? I must have been fucking rich. I can never go to Switzerland again now. That's how broke I am now. Now I'm so broke I can never travel again for the rest of my life. Now I'll be fine, I'll figure it out. But just think, that was August 2022. That was 2 years ago. And I had so much money, I thought, I can do a solo trip for 2 weeks. It was like a $5,000 expenditure. Holy shit. I currently, at the time of this recording, have less in my checking account than is my rent. Just being honest with you. But Ryan, you worked for Lyft. What don't you have any? Oh, let me tell you. So when you don't book commercials, or in my case, when you book 4 national commercials in a row, that normally that's what you've been doing. Couple a year, maybe 1 or 2 a year. Nice little chunk of change. You'll be comfortable for a few months from that alone. With my stand-up to supplement, boom, that's what I've been doing. But when your last 4 commercials in a row, nationals, all get canned. All of them. 3 of them I filmed and never aired. So you don't make residuals. You just get the day rate, which is not a lot. And then one of them I booked, and then that was my, I talked about this on the podcast a few episodes ago. My Pete Buttigieg sketch. PepsiCo saw my Pete Buttigieg sketch and yanked me from the commercial. So 4 commercials in a row. And then with stand-up's been, fine. Plenty of shows got canceled, but that's not what made me lose all my money. I was never like crushing it money-wise with stand-up. I've certainly made less. I don't do colleges anymore because I hate them. But it was really those 4 commercials, and then not really booking a whole lot of acting stuff, I guess. I don't know. My money just slowly started dwindling and dwindling. And it was the first time in a while. I was hanging in there for a few years. Just kind of doing great. Feeling great. Footloose and fancy free. Going out, spending whatever. Never really cared. Didn't look too much at my checking account. I was like, it's good. It's in good shape. I could have had my identity stolen, and people have been draining me. Maybe that's what happened. But anyway, totally, the past couple of years, just work has been bad. And so I just ran out of money. And that's okay. I haven't worked. I am in no position to complain about losing all my money because I haven't fucking worked. Of course I don't have any money. I'm lazy. I've gotten lazy because for 8 years now I've been able to work like 10 days a year. That's not true. More than 10 days a year. But with stand-up, 40 days a year are days where I do something and get paid for it. That's not a lot. So I should not complain. What I am is grateful for the 8 years that I got to live the dream. And boy, did I live. That's my dream. That's not true. I have bigger dreams than that. I would love to live in a house and have a cat and have a Panthers room where I can watch the future of Panthers football, Bryce Young. Oh, funny. Turns out Bryce Young is good. Oh, who'da thunk? Crazy to believe in such a boy who won the fucking Heisman Trophy and a national championship. It's almost like he's actually good at football if you just give him a chance. Huh. Anywho, that would be my dream. That's kind of my dream house. But the past 8 years, I've been able to not have a day job, to support myself without a day job, and be doing fine. So that's a lot of people gotta wait for like retirement to experience that, to live comfortably and have money, but not really have to work, or work at least very, very little. Hey, I got to do that from age 28 to 36, and that's pretty cool. I'm grateful for that. But then the money eventually does run out if you don't work. It's crazy how that happens. It's crazy that if you don't work at all for like a few years, you don't make all your money goes away. That's kind of fucked. Trump will fix that. I got faith in T-Dog. But so for the past couple months, I have been applying to jobs and looking for jobs. And let me tell you, just like crappy day jobs, I don't really care. Just looking for just like a part-time thing to help supplement, just to keep me like above water. And hopefully something comes down the pipe. And, I could book something or whatever, but just a little side gig. It's not a side gig if it's your only job, I suppose. This is a part-time thing, and I've applied. I've been applying everywhere for months. I could actually bring up. Watch, I'll bring up I have a document right now of places that I applied to. It's called Job Hunt on Google Docs. Okay, let me tell you. I applied to the Peterson Automotive Museum, which is an automotive museum in LA. Here's the thing. I haven't worked in 8 years. I have no skills. I'm stupid. I'm lazy. For the past 8 years, I have a gap in my resume for 8 years, and it says 2017 to present, stand-up comedy and acting. And then I have a description under it, which is like, I do stand-up comedy and I act. Touring the country for stand-up and acting in very small things. So my resume is pathetic, and it's pretty big font to try to fill the whole page. Yikes. It's an ugly resume, but I sent it out to these following places. The Peterson Automotive Museum, Ross, Ross Dress for Less, and they made you take like a whole test online just to apply, and they never called me back. That application took like an hour to work at fucking Ross to pick up the clothes that are on the ground. Sweets Talk, which is a sweets place in West Hollywood. They have cookies. I walk by it sometimes on my way to Surly Goat, and I thought, man, that's fucking sick. What a cool place to work. I've been eating sweets all day. Wendy's, straight up Wendy's. The Carving Board, which is a really good sandwich place right by me. Sunset West Hotel. I would be like a hotel, whatever, clerk or concierge at this like shitty kind of drug deal hotel like around the corner from me. I then applied to this driver position that I found on Craigslist that just said, we'll provide you a car and you're driving. You know, it's kind of a scammy little thing. We'll provide you a car and you can drive the car and you're just driving people around. You're kind of like a Lyft or Uber driver. I thought, okay, I'll apply to that. It said no experience needed. I applied to that. I then applied to Total Wine and More, Bevmo. I had a interview at Bevmo. I got interviewed by like a 19-year-old student and didn't get that job. I applied to the movie theater. I applied to Burger King, LA Fitness, 24-Hour Fitness, a no experience needed admin assistant job, McDonald's, Crumble, the cookie place, The Melt, a burger place that makes smash burgers, Petco, this cleaning job called Clean Team LA, an admin assistant at a weed company, and finally Jersey Mike's. So my thinking is I don't have a car right now, so I would love to work at a place that's kind of close to me, or a place that would provide a car for the job. So a lot of these places are like really close to my apartment. The only places I heard back from were Bevmo, who I got an interview with them. Didn't go well. Jersey Mike's, I did get an interview with them, but I canceled it because I was like, I can't work at Jersey Mike's. I'm just not going to do that. And this mysterious driver position reached out. This guy reached out, says, hey, very, very bad, like, typos, and pretty scammy, but what are you going to do? I have no money. And he says, hey, come in for this interview at this time. You're going to be driving for Uber and Lyft and we'll provide you a car. And I'm like, what is this? I go in for the interview. I got my nice polo shirt, the same polo from jury duty. It's my nice shirt. I also wore that to the Bevmo interview. This is my interview shirt and jury duty shirt. It's a great shirt. It's from Walmart. Soft, good, form-fitting, very nice polo. I go to this interview for this mysterious driver position, and I think I'm going to go and I'm just going to at least find out what it is. I don't really understand how I am driving for Uber and Lyft using a car that's not mine and what this company is getting out of it. I don't really get it. So the interview is in this WeWork in a kind of an open floor plan WeWork in a Sky Rise in West Hollywood, and they give they're clear, but they're very just general, unenthusiastic instructions to get up to this where they're doing it. Pretty sparse instructions to get up to this interview, and I get up to this 8th floor, whatever it is, and then the lobby, it's like 3 other very down and out dudes. And I walk in, and the thing is like, wait in the lobby. So I'm just sitting with these guys, and they're sad. I almost called them losers just then, but that's not true. We're doing the same thing. Who am I to call them losers? But they were very sad looking men. Then this guy comes out. He comes into the lobby. He says, "Hello, my name is Jay. I am going to interview you." He's so French. He's one of the most Frenchest guys I've ever heard in my life. Pepe Le Pew, my Uncle Guy, and then Jay from LM26 Express. Jay comes out. "Hello, what is the order? Did you get here?" I said, "I got here last. They all go in before me. It's a 10-minute quick interview, only 10 minutes." They go in. They all take 10 minutes. And then I go in. My interview took like 45 minutes. It wasn't really an interview. It's really just him setting you up with the Uber and Lyft driver application on your phone. And you just kind of sit there and like fill some stuff out on the application on the phone. And he's kind of talking. He's talking, and I have no idea what this guy is saying. And I'm trying to figure out what his company is. I don't get it. Because I originally thought I was driving it was like a private company, just like a private driver for people. I'm like, oh, so I'm actually a Lyft driver, an Uber driver? And this guy's just like setting up my account, and he has to upload like documents for this car that he has. And I'm like, this is weird, but hey, what are you going to do? It's either this or I lose everything. Or maybe I lose everything through this. But either way, I lose everything. Why did I do this? There's at least a chance that this could go well. And when I say I could lose everything, believe me, everything is very little. So I say, fuck it. I still don't really get it. But we do this interview, and for like 40 minutes, he's setting up my account. And so then I go home. I'm like, I still don't. He said, "We'll be in touch once your application is received, then you'll get set up and approved as a driver through Lyft and Uber." And we're emailing for a couple weeks. Like, I'm having so much trouble getting approved for these apps. And I still don't get how his company makes money. Where is this car coming from? I don't really get it. He seems like a normal guy. He's just a normal French guy. I have no idea if he's cool or not because he's French. When people have accent is that thick, I can't really get a vibe. Are you cool? How would you talk if you didn't have an accent? Because when you have a French accent, you just sound like a pussy, coward, idiot, freak, bitch, moron, pedophile, rapist. So I would wonder what his vibe would be without the accent. But because of that sexy accent, boy, I just trusted him. And so finally my account gets set up with Lyft. I get activated with Lyft. After a couple weeks I was getting constant notifications from Lyft being like, "Your inspection is invalid. It's an unclear photo. This insurance is not valid. It's expired." And he's on the other end. He's uploading all these things, but I'm getting the notifications. I'm like, what is this? Finally, it goes through. Lyft goes through. "Okay, you're all set to drive through Lyft." The guy emails me, "Okay, you're all set to drive. You can pick up the car whenever." So I'm thinking, all right, this guy has a company that they rent you. Most, like Uber and Lyft don't let you rent a car and also work for the other one. The advantage of this third-party company, LM26 Express, is that they will rent you a car and you can work for both Uber and Lyft. So in theory, you can make more money, but they charge more. I assumed it would be like a percentage of what I made is what this company would take, but that's not what it is. What happens is this. The guy says, "Meet me at this street. just an address, just because there's like parking available on this street in Hollywood. And he's like, just meet me on this street at this address on the sidewalk, and I will drop off the car and we'll go over everything. It's nighttime. It's like 6:30, completely nighttime. Standing outside on the sidewalk. This is November 13th. Standing on the sidewalk. He pulls up in a Prius. Hey, good to see you, Ryan. Hey, Jay, what's up, buddy? Congratulations, you excited to start driving for Uber? So he goes around shows me the car. We go around doing an inspection of the car. He is the whole time holding a waffle in his hand, and he is just eating a dry waffle the whole time this is all happening. And what's happening is we were going around the car. He's showing me little minor dents and dings, very minor stuff, just to say, hey, I will mark this down. You just have a scratch on the car. I will mark this. Then we sit in the car together and we go over how this all works. And how this all works is he's going to give me this car and I have to pay them $65 a day to rent the car. Which to me was a bit more than I was expecting. I kind of thought this would be first I thought it would be a percentage, but looking back, that doesn't make any sense. That's not how car rentals work. But I thought it would be a lot less than 65, maybe 30 bucks a day, 30, 40 bucks a day, which would still suck, but it'd be doable as a stopgap. But $65 a day. At that point, alarm bells start going off. And I think to myself, that's not good. I would have to work so much to make money at this job. I'm not going to be able to do that. Mentally, physically, don't want to do. That's crazy. But I'm already in a car with this guy and we're signing paperwork. And I am a pussy. I don't want to be rude and say, you know what, after all this, never mind. I don't want to do this. I did not realize it was $65 every day that I had to pay you, regardless if I drive or not. If I don't drive, I just lose $65 that day. That's what I wanted to say. That's what I felt. But that's not what I did. What I did was go, oh, okay, 65. That seems fair. Sign the contract. And in my head, I'm going, get out of the car, dude. Get out of the car, you pussy. You coward. Just tell him you don't want to do it. And go home. You can end this right now. Or you can keep going forward and not say anything, and you're going to lock yourself into $65 a day. But how about this? I'll try it. If it sucks, then I'll quit. That's fine. I think to myself, Ryan, just chill out, dude. The fact that I haven't worked in 8 years is really just freaking me out to have to get a new job maybe. So I'm like, Ryan, how about settle down, dude? You have to work. Yeah, you got to pay for the car. That's how having a car works. You're either making a payment, you're paying your lease, you're paying insurance. This is just no different than that. Stop thinking of it as paying $65 every day to this, losing that much money. Just try to work this job, make some money from it, and if it sucks, quit. Quit whenever, dude. So I sign the contract and I say, okay, let's do it. I drive for my first night. I can take the car right then. And we shook hands and I tried to drive off in my new Prius and I did not know the parking brake was on. And it was a nightmare trying to pull away. And he just watched me like, oh God. I think I burnt through some things. It took me, and I made it pretty far with the parking brake on before I figured out what was going on. It took me a minute to learn the Prius. This is not I've never driven a Prius before. Once you get the hang of it, which takes about 15 seconds, then it's fine. But yeah, the knobs are in different places, the gear shift, the driving knob. Everything's just a little weird in there. But once I figured it out and I was ready to roll, I started driving for Lyft. I thought, let me give it a night. See how the first night goes. See how the first couple days go. My first ride, I pick a girl up. I say, hey, you're my first ever Lyft ride. She goes, no way. I go, yeah, it's like $65 a day, I just learned. She goes, whoa, that's a lot. I go, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I am going to do this, if I should do this. What a crazy conversation to have with your Lyft driver. Oh, by the way, so he was also trying to set me up with Uber, and my Uber had my background check pending this whole time. For now, at this point, it's been a month and a half. And it just was always pending. And he told me when I picked up the car, don't worry, Uber, the background check it will be clear in 1 or 2 days. 1 or 2 days maximum. And then you can drive for Uber and Lyft. But for right now, I'm just working for Lyft. I only have Lyft. I go, that's fine. I'll just do Lyft right until the other one gets going. I just need to start making money like now because I'm broke as fuck. I need to literally pay rent. So I picked this girl up, drop her off. First ride done. I was very nervous. It's very nerve-wracking. Like, I'm a Lyft driver now. And I'm picking this girl up and she just has to get in this car. And it's not even my car. I've been driving this car for like 20 minutes. And now I'm picking someone up who's like paying money. And their life is in my hands. And the first ride went fine. My second ride, her name was Ginger. And I went to pick her up, and I just forgot Ginger. And she opened the door, and I went, hey, for Amber? And she went, Ginger? And I looked at the phone, and I went, yeah, Ginger. Sorry. I can read. I thought, yikes, dude. She ended up being pretty cool. Imagine just someone just saying just a different name, how unsafe you would feel. If I just got in the Lyft and he was just like, hey, Phil? And I was like, Ryan. And he looks at his phone and he goes, oh, yeah, Ryan. I'd be like, yeah, never mind, dude. I'll just walk. But sweet Ginger, she got in my car. Not even a redhead. Got in my car, and we were driving, and I was like very embarrassed that I just went, hey, Amber? Those are the pretty similar names. I'm sorry. You know? It's just like a 2-syllable name that ends in and they're both like objects in real life. Those are both words in real life, not just names. So, sorry. Those are similar names to me. Sorry if you are one of those and you are offended. But I was embarrassed and it was all quiet, and then she just goes, "Hoo, what a day." And I was like, "Bad day?" And she goes, "Long day." I go, "Oh my God." She's like, "I'm here from out of town." "Oh, where are you in town from?" "Where are you in town from?" That's what my voice sounded like. She's like, "I'm here doing a modeling gig." I thought, ooh, I look in the rearview mirror. Not cute. Just a classic not cute model. Those are all the rage now. You go to Target, look at the fucking pictures of people. Yikes. Hey, ugly is cool, ugly is king. Congratulations to Adam Driver and Jeremy Allen White. But she was going to a Raya date. They truly let anyone on Raya, by the way. I'm on it. And let me tell you, you don't have to be good looking. It's a lot of scrolling. It's just like all the other ones. But you need clear pictures. It does make sure you have a nice looking profile with clear pictures. But you can be straight up ugly. It's fine. Don't even worry about it. If you need a recommendation, hit me up. I can refer you and you can get on the app, even if you're an ugly loser. I'll hook you up. Venmo me. My third ride is a girl named Lauren. I just remember my first night very well because it was just my first night. I drove a girl named Lauren. We talked the whole ride, and at the end, I dropped her off, and she said, "Do you have a schedule, by the way? You're lovely." I said, "Thank you, but I have no idea what you're talking about. A schedule? Like a work schedule?" And she goes, Yeah, I'm in town for a week. Would love to have you be my driver." I was like, I don't know, dude. I was like, I'll be working at night probably, but I'm probably gonna quit tomorrow because I don't like this. She was like, all right. Never did see her again. Hope you're doing well, Lauren. Never did exchange info with any of my... No, I gave one guy my Instagram. His name was Transmorpheus or something like that. Or Transmorpha. Then it was just kind of just a lot of just boring stuff. I could tell you. Oh, so the next day, yeah, so that was the first night. I also went to pick a guy up, and I was like around the corner because it was like this crazy bar club area in Hollywood, and I couldn't get to where he was, so without like going through a shit ton of traffic and whipping around, and so I was like I went on like the other side of the street, pulled around like on a little corner, and I was like, hey, I'm here, around here, and the guy's texting me, he's like, I'm behind you outside this club, and I'm like, no, I know, but I can't. If you walk to me, we can get out of here, and I don't have to like do like a 20-point turn and go in this crazy intersection. But that's what he made me do. I had to go do it. And I pick him up. Black guy, black girl. They look great and they smell great. The girl was so hot. And they get in my car and he goes, sorry man, I would have walked to you, but I got a lady here in heels. And she did have heels. And I was like, okay, I get it. But like I cannot describe to you how close I was. I'm talking 30 feet. Walk. Walk in your heels. Give your girl a piggyback ride. I don't care if your feet hurt, bitch. Be a normal person. I'm parked over here. Sorry. Well, you had to walk across a crosswalk. That was the distance. I was flabbergasted. But I drove them. First night, it kind of sucked. So I worked. I made maybe like $50. My first night, I drove for like 4 hours or something. 3 hours. So after 3.5 hours of working, I believe it was, I lost $15 because I had to pay that guy. I also had to give him a $95 key fee that was refundable when you return the car. So I lost $10-15 on that first night. The next morning, I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this. I text Jay. I go, Jay, listen, man, it's not going to be worth it. The $65 a day is just too much. I can't drive for Lyft. I'm sorry, man. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm such a pussy. I'm like, thank you so much for the opportunity. So sorry to do this, man, but I'm actually going to stop. I'm not going to have time to make it. Because literally, if you're paying $65 to make good money, you would have to drive like 10 hours every day. And he did, in his defense, he did tell me that. He did tell me that you have to work a lot to make it worth it. A lot of people try to do this job and they don't work a lot and it's not worth it. But I was thinking, well, I don't want like a ton of money. I just want to like get by. So I'm cool working just like a chill amount and then making a chill amount of money. I'm not trying to make, the ad was like $1,000 a week. I'm like, I don't need that. I can work a third of the hours and make to $333 a week would be great. What I didn't realize is if you don't work a lot of hours, you literally lose money, which is what happened on night one. 3.5, 4 hours, and I just lost $10-15. So I said, I can't do it. He says, hey, guess what, buddy? If you don't give me a 2 weeks notice, it's a $1,000 fine per the contract that you signed. And then he sent me a picture of the contract that I signed and didn't really think much of any of the rules. Didn't really think much of not giving didn't really think he'd call me out on it. And he sure did. I thought, well, fuck. He's got me now. So what I can do is I can quit, pay $1,000, or just work for 2 weeks. So I decided to I said, hey, I'm going to put in my 2 weeks notice right now. This was November 14th, if you're paying attention. My dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. Dad, for your birthday this year, I didn't read a contract and got fucked. You have raised me so poorly. Always teach your kids to read the fine print. But I said I'm gonna put it in my 2 weeks notice now. 2 weeks from today is going to be Thanksgiving, the November 28th, so I can return the car that day, or if you're not around, I can do a different day. But yeah, it's my 2 week. Consider this my 2 weeks notice. He said, all right, fair enough. There also was a thing on the contract that said I have to work for 4 weeks, but he didn't make me do that, which is nice. Hey, it wasn't a scam. It was just really taking advantage of poor people and dumb people, and I am both right now. I've always been dumb, but now I'm also poor. So I'm very easily taken advantage of and duped. And but it's not really a scam. Pretty much everything was honest. It was just like weird and not a good deal. But so off I go, working for Lyft, and the only way to not lose money is I have to work every single day. To break even, I have to work pretty much like 4 hours a day. And I don't want to break even. I need to I actually do need money. So I'm trying to make money. So most nights if I could, I'd put in at least 4, but sometimes 6 or 7, sometimes 8. There's a few nights I made a profit. A lot of nights I didn't make very much profit. A few nights I lost money. But I would make myself a sandwich, put it in tin foil, bring a water bottle, bring them in the car, and put the sandwich in the, whatever it's called, the middle thing, container, between the seats. What is that called? And, when I got hungry, I would eat my sandwich. That would be my little meal for my shift. And I would drive people around. And I'm going to be honest with you, I liked it. I like driving for Lyft. It's really just driving people around, and some people want to talk, and some people don't. And if you want to talk, I'm talking. I like the talking. I love talking to people. One little scientific experiment I found, I think it's a lot easier to talk to people and have a conversation that's not like weird and having awkward pauses and stuff if you're facing away from them and driving a car. It was very easy for me to engage in a conversation while driving a car. I think because you're not looking them in the eye, so there's no awkward eye contact or there's a lot less like dropping of conversations where neither can think of anything to say. There's always stuff going on that you're looking at while you're driving that you can comment on if there is a lull, and it's just like the pressure is off of not looking someone in the eye, I think is the biggest thing. And you look straight ahead, and if there is a pause, that's okay because you're driving. So you can be like, take a minute to just gather your thoughts and just like drive for a bit. Where if you were like on a date with someone or just hanging out with a friend and you're just talking and then it like gets quiet and both of you are like, what's next? It was very easy and very fun to talk to people. And pretty much all of them, I never saw what they looked like, and they never saw what I looked like. And I'll drop them off and say, hey, great meeting you. Have a great night. I like the talkie. And by the way, the people that talk to you are the people that, when you have conversations, those are the only people that tip. And here's something you all need to know. You have to tip your Lyft and Uber drivers. I've talked to a few people, and I've been tipping my Lyft and Uber drivers, though this whole time, just a couple bucks. And I've encountered a couple people that have been baffled by that, really taken aback by that, and said, you tip your Lyft driver? You don't have to do that. Yeah, you fucking do. Pretty much anyone who like gets tips for their job, like that job sucks. They aren't fucking killing it. Even bartenders, they make great money sometimes. But also, like, you would also tip them, wouldn't you? They're doing way better than fucking Lyft and Uber drivers. If there's an option at the end to tip someone, give them a fucking tip, whether you're at Starbucks or whatever. Their life sucks. They don't have a job that is good where they don't get tipped. Those are the good jobs, where you don't make tips. You work an actual job in an office or whatever you do. These service industry jobs where you can get fucking tipped, tip them. $2. You might not think it's a lot, but believe me, the very, very few tips that I got working this fucking job, I really appreciated them. Literally even $1 shows up, it says customer tipped you, and I really liked it. That's the difference between $16 an hour and $18 an hour if you throw them $2. $2. Tip your fucking Uber drivers, you cheap pieces of shit. I got so few tips. So few tips. 5% of people? 5 to 10% of people? Maybe 10. I would say 10% of people tipped. This person that just drove you safely from one place to another so that you could drink, and they're making shit money, dude. Me, I was losing money, but that's a unique situation. Throw Uber and Lyft drivers a tip, please. If you're a listener of this podcast, I want you to do this. Do it for me. But I met a lot of interesting people. I did enjoy the work. I would love to have my own car and do this. But I probably never will. If I have the money to afford a car that would be accepted by Uber or Lyft, then I have enough money to not work for Uber or Lyft. My next goal is to just buy a piece of shit car. That's what I'm saving up for. And boy, wait till you get to the end of the app when I tell you what I'm doing now. Because the Lyft is now over. But I met so many interesting people. I made a list. Let me get my phone out. Stories I wanted to remember to tell. One time I picked up a guy who lived in the building over from me. His name was Jimmy. And I usually start working. I turn on the Lyft app in my apartment. And then when I get my first ride, I would get my stuff and go outside and get in the car and go. But my first ride I got while I was doing this was a guy in the building next door. And so I got my stuff and I went outside, and he was just standing out there waiting. And I went, Jimmy? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, hey, I'm Ryan. I live right next to you. I'm your driver. And he was like, what? And I was like, this is the car. This is your Uber. And he was like, oh, okay. And he gets in the back, and I was like, yeah, dude. Sorry, hard to explain, but I start there. So, yeah, this is. And he was like, wow, that's crazy. And he was a very cool guy. He's an actor. And I was like, yeah, dude, I live next door. And he was like, well, I guess I got to tip you now. Little funny little joke from Jimmy. And guess what? He did. And it was like $2. I think it was literally exactly $2, maybe 2 and change. But I loved that. That's a perfect tip. That's totally fine. Don't think that you're insulting someone by giving them $2. Well, I'd rather not give them anything at all if I'm only going to give them $2. No, give them $2. It really, really helps. These people are broke, dude. No one's driving for a Lyft and thriving. $2 helps. Just your hourly rate so you don't want to kill yourself. $16 an hour doesn't feel good. $18 an hour? Okay, now we're talking minimum wage in some places. I picked up Jimmy. I picked up a little old Russian lady who got in my back seat and goes, oh, it's cold. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I do crank the AC because it gets hot in the car. It's just me and all my fucking muscles. And it gets hot. She goes, oh, it's cold. I said, oh, I'm sorry. I turned it down. We're driving. I think she wasn't going to say anything. Then she started talking to me. Very thick accent, very hard to understand, but such a cute little old Russian lady. And she just goes, my aunt, 100 years today. Oh, I don't know what that accent was, but you get the gist. Rasha, my aunt, 100 years today. And I said, your aunt is 100 years old? Yes, 100 years old today. I said, oh, happy birthday to her. Oh, thank you. I said, is that where you're going? Are you going to see her? She goes, yes, going to celebrate 100 years. I go, oh, where are you going? And she goes, this cemetery. I said, oh, has died? Yes, died 1 year ago, 99. Like, oh, so I feel like that's not her 100th birthday. She's dead. She's not 100 years old. She's 1 year dead. Happy first birthday in the afterlife, Grandma or Aunt. Who else did I drive? Oh, I was dropped some people off at this club in Hollywood. These two girls. I also loved seeing just the relationships of people. Sometimes I didn't talk to people at all. They would just be in the back seat talking to themselves, and it was so interesting. Just seeing people's dynamics of their relationships, where are they coming from, who they are. You could just tell some people are just, these people are coworkers. There's these two girls in my car. They just look like buds, there's friends, and they're going to a club, and they get in the back of my car, and they're just like asking these questions about each other that I was like, oh my God, they like just met. She's like, and it's like, where are you from again? Like, what do you do again? But they were just getting along so well, and I feel like this is like, maybe they were going to meet like a third mutual friend or something that introduced them, but they had like just, and it was so interesting to see these two very new friends going out, and they seemed like they were going to be great friends. I think that friendship has so much potential. These two, you would see couples get in the back. The people that get in the back and don't say a word to each other is crazy to me. It's so weird. You just have nothing to say to each other. You just went to a thing, or you're going to a thing. There's got to be stuff to talk about. The best are the people that are just partying and they want to just talk to me. I love that because I'm a gabber. Especially if you're drunk, I love to just up, and those were very fun rides. Just guys that are going. I pick up these three gay guys going to this concert, and it was like a 50-minute ride in through LA traffic, and they were vaping. I saw them vaping, or they said something about vaping, and I went, "Oh, if you guys vape, you can vape in here. I don't care." And they vaped. I was like, "This is not my car. You can absolutely vape. I don't give a shit. I'm returning this car in just under 2 weeks." But I was dropping these girls off, these two girls that had just become friends, right at a club in Hollywood, and we pull up. And they're kind of confused about where it was. They're like, well, can we look up the address for a second? Sorry. I'm like, yeah, go for it. You're just costing me money, but it's fine. And they see it and they go, okay, thank you. And I'm like stuck in like a bunch of cars, or I'm stuck behind a car outside this club. I can't really like pull away because it's this crowded club, and there's all these cars all pulled over and dropping off Lyfts and Ubers and stuff and whatever. Crowded little area like right on Hollywood or maybe Sunset. They finally get out of my car, and I can't move. I can't leave. I'm trapped in a big jumble of cars. And then this drunk guy, comes up, black, not important, but he comes up and tries to get in my back seat. I thought he thought that I was his Uber. He tries to open my back seat, and it's locked. Thank God it's locked, because turns out he was crazy and homeless. But at first I think, oh no, he's in the wrong Uber. Then I look in my mirror and his ass is out. His like pants are down, and he turns around and he starts rubbing his ass on my car, on the door of the car, the back door. He's just rubbing it like a Charmin bear, rubbing his bare ass on and I'm just watching. And in front of me is another car, and I can't move. And I'm just going, I don't know what to do. Do I beep? That makes no sense, because the guy's behind rubbing it on the back seat. Horns are meant for things that are in front of the car. So what, should I beep at this car that won't move? Luckily, the car in front of me saw the situation and moved and got out of my way. So I drove out of there. And the guy fell down because he was rubbing his ass on my car. And as I drove off, he was just lying on the ground with his pants down. He was just screaming and like rolling around like a baby, like crying like a baby on the ground. I'm like, that sucks for whoever. And there was a car that was now stuck behind him. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. You guys got to deal with that. This is probably I think this was like my second day. I thought, don't you rub your ass on my sweet, sweet 2015 Prius. Actually do, because fuck this company. Fuck this job. I think it was also my second day in Hollywood I was pulling over to park and I backed into something. It sounded pretty light. I really didn't think much of it. I thought it was like one of those cardboard or those like plastic stands on the sidewalk. They'd say, "Hey, come in here. We got fresh goulash, whatever." You know those signs on the sidewalk that say, "Hey, come in. We got fresh goulash," and it's a plastic sign. I thought it was one of those. But I heard like bump, 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 and I go, "Whoops, that sucks." And I drove away. Didn't think anything of it. But at the end of the night, I got home and my bumper was a little bit askew. And judging on everything that Jay had said and how this whole company seems to be, I think, yikes, that's not good. I'm going to get dinged for that. They're going to make me pay for the whole car. They're going to make me pay for a new Prius or some shit. I mean, you would barely, if you weren't looking at it, you wouldn't even notice. But this guy with his thorough inspection, I thought he's going to see this bumper's a little bit jacked. A little bit jacked up. Just a little bit. But like passengers, it's not enough for a passenger to care. I kept driving, and passengers would be like, "Yeah, there's a Prius, let's get in." But if you look close, you can see bumper's a little bit jacked. We continue on. We drive. There was one day I was on the 405 driving a girl in the back seat with a giant cello. She got in my car with a cello. I picked her up. Asian, obviously. Picked up this girl. She opens the door and she goes, "Hey, can I bring this? And can I put this in here?" And I go, "Yeah, do you want to put it in the trunk? It's huge." And she goes, "No, I'll hold it." I was like, "Okay." I go, "What is that, a cello?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I was like, "Cool, cool. You play the cello?" She was like, "Yeah." What if she was like, "No. Nah, just stole it. Gonna sell it." We didn't talk much, but I tried. I will always try. And I'll gauge the situation. They get in and I'll go, "Hey, how's it going?" And a lot of people will just go, "Good." Or, "Hmm." But some people go, "Good, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Good." And then if I can try to find something to talk about that's like makes sense, that's not like forcing it. "What are you doing tonight?" I'll be like, "Hey, did you hear about this Fat Sal's burned down?" That was a big night for Lyft. Fat Sal's burned down in Hollywood. So everyone that got in my car, I go, "Hey, did you hear the news? Fat Sal's burned down." And people go, "No!" And that was and I was like, "I saw the smoke and the street's closed off. So we can't go down this street because Fat Sal's burned down." That was like an easy night to start conversations, you know. But this girl, we weren't talking. I tried it, didn't work. And then we're on the 405, which is famously a very crowded, terrible highway in LA. And we're going maybe like 20 miles an hour. Traffic is, it's not at a standstill. It's moving. It's moving, but it's there. And cars are just being kind of weird. Like, cars are just like veering and braking and just being weird around me. And I'm going, "What's going on?" There's a guy stopped like on the on-ramp, and I was going to let him go, but then he wouldn't go. And I'm like, "I was letting you go. What's happening?" So then I went, and then I realized what was happening is there was a loose corgi sprinting down the 405, on the shoulder of this 405, little golden corgi, just hauling ass on the shoulder. And it's going right at the same speed as my car. It's going right next to my car. And there's people in front of me and they're veering off to try to cut it off. There's people running down the highway trying to chase. I don't know whose dog it is. I don't know if its owner is one of these people. I don't know what's going on. You would think that the owner would be the most hell-bent on getting out and running after their dog. But who knows? The owner was probably a fat British loser who had a corgi for a pet, because the corgis usually belong to fat British losers. And but people are pulling off, and it's going right next to my car. And the girl behind me, we hadn't said a word, but now we were saying lots of words. I'll go, "Jesus, look at that!" You know how all my words. I know probably 50 or 60 words. And I'm going, "Oh my God!" And the dog tries to jump over the little wall on the side of the highway, doesn't make it, falls back. It's a corgi, tiny little legs, but it was scared. It's nighttime. It's headlights. Doesn't make it over the wall. Turns back. Decides to run into the 405, which is like a 6-lane highway. And cars are in every lane. Luckily, they're not going too fast because it was trafficy. But the people were going fast enough where the dog ran right in front of my car. And I'm going, whoa! And the girl's filming it. And it goes almost all the way to the other side of the 405, Frogger style. Does not get hit by a car. I was 100%. I was so sure I was going to see this dog get hit by a car, and it was going to really bum me out. But it would have been its own fault. I'm sorry. I guess if you're running across the 405 and you're a corgi, like, you did 100% have it coming if you get hit by a car. What are you doing, first of all? Like, I have very little sympathy if you're doing that. It had the right idea trying to jump over the wall. But who knows where that could have gone. It probably would have fallen to its death. But when that doesn't work out, don't go, well, I guess I'll try to run in between the cars. Nah. Stupid animal. Corgis are stupid animals. Stupid looking, too. But I'm glad it survived. Then it went back to the shoulder and kept just running. People are just running. Trucks are pulling over. Pickup truck. There's a guy in a pickup truck pulled over and tried to catch it. It saw it from way up ahead, which is impressive. To see in your rear view mirror that all this is happening and go, I got to pull over now and try to catch this dog. And the dog just went right around him. And then it took an off-ramp and just went down the off-ramp. Thank God. Who knows where that dog is today? Probably flat and squashed somewhere. But hey, all corgis are flat and squashed, aren't they, folks? Stupid looking animal. You wouldn't think their legs can run that fast, but this corgi was hauling ass. It honestly looked great. I would love to see that video that girl took, because it was going the exact same speed as my car, and he was just tearing ass down the highway. And I want to put that video up, and I want to do the guitar solo from Freebird with that dog just it looked like it had a smile on its face, but it was probably just super scared. You know how we smile when we're nervous? It was probably that. But he was just tearing it out. Freebird! Running so fast, as hard as it could, its little legs. I drove an old black woman named Mary home one night. Mary was getting off of her shift at a hospital. And I drove her home, and we talked about Thanksgiving. It was right before Thanksgiving, talking about plans. She likes the dark meat, and her kids. Her daughters like dark meat. They don't like white meat. That's common. That's common in black households. They love dark meat. And, hey, you are what you eat. Oh, no. But I drove her home, and I dropped her off. And she was a very nice lady. And then when I dropped her off, she gave me a $5 bill, and she said, get yourself a Coke. Huh. Isn't that nice? She's looking out for me. I wonder if that was kind of like, hey, you seem tired. You're driving poorly. Wake up a little bit. How do you know that I want to drink a Coke? I haven't drank a Coke. I guess I drank a Coke probably 2 weeks ago. But before that, years. I said, I'll put this towards Coke, all right. Yeah, Ain. Yeah, I'll buy some Coke. Ain. Yes, I backed into the thing. Oh, I picked up this douche. This guy who lived in this gated community called Park La Brea. I hate this. I used to drive for Postmates, and I would have to deliver to this shithole gated community all the time, and it's impossible to get in and impossible to get out, and all the high-rises there's no parking, and the high-rises there's 20 stories, and I hate going there. I picked up this douche, tried talking to him, he wouldn't talk. Then he just loudly on his phone the whole time. It was crazy. Some people would just be on their, play stuff on their phones. When I'm in the back of an Uber and my phone, plays volume, I'm like, oh, shit. I'm embarrassed. Some people just watch videos and play music on their phones at full volume. I'm not up here playing Glass Animals radio on Spotify every single day. which is usually what I did every single day. I'd put on Glass Animals radio on Spotify because I feel like that's just everyone's fine with that. A few people loved it, but it's just like it's fine driving music. It's chill, it's cool, it's funky, sometimes current, you know? I feel like that was a nice little medium. But this guy, the whole ride, was playing videos. Have you seen those videos on TikTok or Instagram of guys will go up and hit on girls and they'll like film the whole thing and they'll like get the girl's number and they just like put it on TikTok and it's just a guy hitting on a girl. And it's just it's a whole genre and you could just watch these guys and just watch how they do it. And this douchebag, the entire ride from Park La Brea all the way up to Universal Studios area, Burbank area, was watching these videos. Just watching guys hit on girls. Hey, what's up? Sorry from across the room. Just wanted to say you're super beautiful. Yeah, you got a phone number? Yeah, you live around here? Let me get your number. And it's the next video. Hey, what's up? Yeah, I like your shoes. Yeah, where'd you get them? Oh, bet. Hey, you got an Instagram? Yeah, let me get your Instagram. Swipe. He's just watching these videos over and over. I remember dropping him off and being stuck in Burbank eating my sandwich. Couldn't get another ride for a while. I drove him to the middle of nowhere. A cul-de-sac he went. And I hope he got laid that night in that cul-de-sac. I hope he picked up a girl in the apartment building that I dropped him off at. What are you watching all those videos for, dude? Have a conversation with Rye, your driver. Come on. Talk to me. I'm alone. People were annoying. A lot of people were. It's very annoying when people want you to like take a different route. Some people would be busy traffic and they go, "Can you take a? Would you mind?" One lady, it was like heavy traffic. Actually, one guy got in my car, this Indian guy, and he said this. He's all stressed out. He gets in my car and he goes, "Late for work, driving fast. Late for work, driving fast." Late for work, driving fast? He wants me to drive fast because he's late for work. I say, buddy, that's not how you phrase that. Driving fast. Late for work, driving fast. And I say to myself, hey, buddy, I'm going to drive as fast as I want. But you know me, folks. I'm a people pleaser. I drove fast. I drove damn fast and I got him to work. And he goes, thank you, have a good one. I got him to work on time. But people will ask you to just do shit. I was driving this woman, Kim. Why do I remember all these people's names? Kim, you're driving from Brentwood to Hollywood at 3 p.m. It's going to be traffic. It's going to take a while. And she kept being like, do you ever try to like take the side roads or... I wish there was a way to get there with just like taking like a different route than bitch, I'm using Google. Do you think you know more than Google knows? It's active. Look, it says on the map that it's all red. It's not the other roads aren't gonna be better. It knows that there's traffic and it's still the best route. You dipshit. There was a couple times I tried to outsmart Google and embarrassed myself. Got stuck in some other bullshit. So, no, I'm going where I'm going. I'm following Google. Maybe a couple times I snuck around. It's like busy little intersection. Let me cut through a gas station. Boom, easy. But there were multiple instances I tried to be a hero and try to get these people where they're going faster. I know a faster way around this traffic and completely embarrassed myself. I ended up completely perpendicular in the middle of Wilshire one time. Because I had to do a U-turn because I fucked up so bad, and then traffic stopped moving while I was doing the U-turn. Then I was stuck completely perpendicular in standstill traffic, sideways, headlights blaring into me and my passengers' faces. And guess what? I joked about it. We had a good laugh about it. I said, "Yeah, I love being completely perpendicular to traffic." And they had a little laugh. They go, "No, I see what you're trying to do." And they tipped me $5 and they really shouldn't have, because I fucked up that ride. We could have been there earlier if I didn't do that. But they saw that I was trying to get them there faster, and then I was clearly just a nervous guy. And if they can tip me, why can't you tip your person? This Israeli woman saying, "You're cool, dude." And that's the last thing I wrote. She got in my car, and she was another one who said, "Hey, can we step on it? I'm running late." I said, "Oh, geez, okay." Or she was like, "I'm running late. Let's get going." I was like, "Oh, my God." And I was like, "Okay." And then being my classic nice self, and by the time I dropped her off, she goes, "Thank you for the ride." She was like, I'm sorry about the beginning of the ride. I was stressed out. I'm going to see my mom who's sick." And I was like, "Oh, you don't have to apologize. It's fine." And then she goes, I was telling her about acting and stuff, but she was like, "Keep going. You're cool, dude." I was like, "Wow, thanks. I am cool. You know what? I am cool. So cool that I quit working this job, so I finally brought the car back. Here's the ending to this. I brought the car back on Thanksgiving and had to return the car to the same area where I picked it up, that weird little street. And 2 days before this, I had brought the car to a car wash, got it nice and clean for the return. Wanted it nice and clean. But it was 2 days before Thanksgiving. So I returned the car. I text Jay. I go, "Hey, I returned the car. Here's pictures of it. Here's the odometer. Here's the gas. Here's pictures all around, outside and inside. Let me know about that $95 key deposit fee. I would love to get that back." He goes, "You got it. I'll let you know." And then he never texted me again. That was Thanksgiving. At the time of this recording, I'm recording this on Monday night. That was now Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That was 4 days ago. I texted Jay today. I go, "Hey, Jay, just following up on that deposit. Would love to get that deposit back." He goes, "Well, you didn't return the car freshly clean like I had asked." Freshly. I washed it. I go, "Dude, I washed the car 2 days ago." And I didn't know if there'd be, this was my excuse. I didn't know if there'd be car washes open on Thanksgiving Day. So I washed the car 2 days ago. This car was so clean. It had like a tiny little bird poop on it because it had been 2 days since it had been washed. 2 whole days. But it's pretty damn clean. If you're getting in this Uber, you wouldn't go, "Oh, this is filthy." There's one tiny bird poop. And the inside was completely immaculate clean. And I filled up the gas tank. And he said it wasn't clean like I asked upon inspection. I go, "Dude, I cleaned the car 2 days ago. Give me a break." And he didn't respond to that. I said, "Dude, give me a break." Fuck off, man. And we also have to make sure there's no parking tickets, which takes a week. Sure, there's not parking tickets. So I'm going to follow up after the week is up and say, "Hey, so no parking tickets, right? What do you think about giving me that fucking, at least give me part of it back? Sorry there's bird poop on the car, you French piece of shit. You coward." But like I told you, I knocked off that bumper a little bit, and I knew he was going to inspect it deeply. So what I did is I can't afford to get it fixed professionally because I'm just losing money at this job, with this little Lyft job. So I YouTubed how to fix a bumper that's hanging off, and I found a video of this guy, and he says, "Buy these two types of glue, mix them together, put some painter's tape on the corners of the pieces that are askew so you don't get any glue on those pieces, and then put some glue in there and stick it together and hold it with duct tape and let it settle and then peel the tape back off." And I did that, and honestly, it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good. So good, in fact, that Jay didn't even notice that the bumper had been fucked up. So maybe I should be a bumper fixer. Maybe that's my calling. I fixed this hanging off bumper with bumper glue, and this deep inspection that was done by this French doofus did not turn up anything? Maybe I'm good at gluing bumpers. Gucci Gluey. My name is Rhino Flanagan. Gucci Greatness, Gucci Gluey, the Fabergé Fiend. And this has been episode 33 of Laser Show. Tune in to next time. I don't know what the next one will be, but I did get a job after that. I now have a job. I now work at a movie theater, straight up movie theater. That was, so remember I told you all the jobs I had applied for? That was the last one that ended up responding. They said, want to do an interview? I said, okay. And I got the job. I don't know how much I'm going to talk about that on the podcast, any podcast episodes, because I work with these people, so I don't want to be really talking about them on a podcast. But I'll probably have some stories eventually about that. I'm working in a movie theater. Theon Greyjoy came in to work yesterday. I said, is that Theon Greyjoy? Ordering he got popcorn. Calling him out. He eats popcorn. Pussy. And, but yes, that's where I'm at now. So that was my Lyft story. Goodness gracious, I don't even know how long that was. Let me look at the time. Where did the time go? Okay, that's not bad. Oh, it's a perfect episode length. All right, great. Thank you guys for listening to episode 33. And I want to thank all my sponsors, especially Jordan Rantucci. And folks, if you Venmo me $100, I will just say your name as one of my sponsors on my podcast. So I want to thank Jordan Rantucci's wife, Heidi, for doing that. And that was her idea. Jordan, I couldn't just leave you hanging, brother. I need you were listening to this podcast going, why did he just say my name? And then I did the whole podcast without acknowledging why. But it's just a prank, brother. Your wife Venmo'd me $100. She goes, can I Venmo you $100? And you say, that's a good wife. She goes, we love your podcast. It'd be so funny if you just say his name as one of your sponsors. And she gave me $100. Heidi, I would have done it for way less. I would have done it for $10. So that'll be a thing I do. For $100 or whatever you got, I will say your name or I'll say whatever. I'll say whatever you want and it'll just be like, it'll just be on my podcast. I can give you a shout out. I can plug something. I will tell you it's worthless. 217 people listened to episode 32, so it is worthless. But if you like it, hey, you can be on Laser Show. I'll say whatever. I'll say the N-word. That'd be great if you pay me. And you put it in writing that's what you're paying me for, hey, I'm just doing my job. And then I get to scream it. Guys, thank you for listening to episode 33. I want to thank my sponsor, Jordan Rantucci. I want to thank you guys. I hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you got to eat all the pies. And I hope if I don't do an episode before the holidays, I hope you have wonderful holidays. But I'll try to. And no matter what, hey, be good, because Santa's watching you. He's looking at you from heaven. He's watching. So be good. Don't be naughty. And you'll get some good gifts. Oh, I'm selling my tourist hats on eBay. My hats from season 2. Go to my Instagram, find a link, whatever. I've been posting about it. You can bid on them. And bidding ends December 9th. So go bid on those hats. They're autographed, and you can get comes with Overly Excited Taurus stickers as well. So get yourself some stickers, and that's it. Thanks for listening, and as always, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, dance, dance.
Pump up the volume, pump up the volume, pump up the volume, dance, dance. Brio, brio, yeah. Brio, brio, yeah. Brio, brio, yeah. Brio, brio, yeah.